back with Bobby and JJ Radio. If you were just joining us, we talked to Robin Morton, and she let us know how you can qualify for this renovation loan, a 2 or 3K loan, what we call the white ghost of lender loans here in San Antonio, because no one else does it, no one else messes with it, but she's very knowledgeable. She lets us know who can get it, how you can get it, and all that kind of stuff. Then we're going to dive in with her still, and we're going to have some questions with Robin of what we can use this loan for. So, Robin, let's talk about some of the things we can actually use this loan to do, because you can't just go and, like I said in the end of the last segment, is that we can't just go and just build a pool from scratch. That's not what this loan is for, right?
No, it's not.
So what are some of the things that you can use this loan for?
You can use it for replacing roofs, replacing gutters and downspouts, repairing, replacing, upgrading, installing central heating and air systems,
Wow.
Upgrading your plumbing and electrical systems completely, repairing any of your existing or replacing flooring throughout the house, remodeling the kitchens, remodeling the bathrooms, purchasing appliances. Basically, if you're getting the gist, is you can use this for any cosmetic type
anything other than structural. It sounds
anything other than structural. Correct. You cannot use it to repair a cracked slab. You cannot use it to repair a pier and beam system that
Sure.
needs some additional beams. You cannot use it for a ceiling joist that's failing. That's structural.
So when people sometimes they go into older homes, they're like, I want to move this wall. Sometimes you can do it and sometimes you can't, because if it's a load-bearing wall, then that would be a structural change that
Correct.
they could not use this money for.
Correct.
Okay, because that's a lot of questions that our buyers have, is like they was coming to an older home that are, kind of compartmentalized, I think is the word, where you just come in and there's like a living and dining, and then the kitchen is separate, and then all the bedrooms are separate, and they want a more open concept, but they cannot use the 2 or 3K loan to move any kind of wall that is structural.
Structural, correct.
So I was also reading that other than structure, you couldn't use it for landscaping either. Is there any other thing other than structural landscaping? Can you touch on the things that you cannot use this loan for?
You cannot use it for a new pool.
Okay.
You cannot use it to add a room unless the foundation was already there.
Mm-hmm. So
then you're adding on to it.
What's an example of that where the foundation is already there?
Somebody started one maybe?
No, it's not ever. Never can be used for a completion of a partially existing home.
Okay.
Back porch has a foundation. It's open. You want to enclose it. You want to run air conditioning out there.
Right.
Perfectly acceptable.
I got you, because it already has a structure in place.
Correct.
I got you. Okay, and so let's talk a little bit about spending on each category. Do you have to go heavy on one side or heavy on the other? Can you disperse it as you please, or what are the regulations on that?
There are no regulations on that. Now, if there are other FHA required repairs
Sure.
on a purchase transaction, those repairs would have to be complete as well.
So those are the priority.
Correct.
So, okay, and so let's talk about some of those required repairs just off your cuff that you might have come across in your 30 years of doing loans.
What I see a lot of is, especially on the older homes, is siding soffit that is falling down or rotted.
Okay.
That's kind of a cancer with that situation,
Sure.
so they want you to rip it off and replace that. Hot water heaters that are not venting properly in the
Sure.
older homes, those are the types of hazardous repairs that FHA is going to require.
So pretty much whatever you want done to your house anyways for the safety of your family is probably what they're going to recommend first or prioritize first, and then whatever's left over of that $31,000 to $35,000 you can use however you want.
Correct.
Now I'm sorry, Bob, let's touch real quick on the pool. Now, what if you had an existing pool already?
If the pool was there and the pool needed repair, you can use the 2 or 3K for rehab work.
I gotcha. Okay. And so who can complete this work? Because Bobby, he does a lot of moonlighting. He says he's a carpenter. I've never seen it.
I said a landscaper.
Oh, okay, whatever. So then we can use your services, 2 or 3K loans. But who can actually complete the work, Robin?
You have to have a general contractor who is licensed in the municipality that you're building, and then all of their major mechanicals have to be licensed as well.
So that's a little confusing. So you would have to have a licensing in like the city of San Antonio, right?
That would be correct.
So contractors, people actually don't know this, but contractors can get licensing in different, cities. And we're going to talk to Mark about how you do that or who does that or how that's done. a lot of people just think like, hey, this guy says he's a contractor, and so therefore he's a contractor, but he might not have the license to do what he's saying that he's going to do at your home. And he has subcontracts too, like, hey, this guy does plumbing, but is he a licensed plumber? Or this guy does HCs, but is he a licensed HVAC technician? Or this guy does electrical, but is he a real electrician? And so you have to be careful, just in general, who you're letting into your home and doing work on your house. But in this particular case, no brother-in-law work is available for 203K unless your
brother-in-law is a general contractor.
Got him. So what needs to be submitted to make like a final approval at the end?
Minimally for the contractor, you would submit your license. You would submit 3 references of customers that you've done work for, and you would need to have a $1 million liability policy in place.
Insurance liability for the contractor.
Insurance liability for the contractor. The contractor then would prepare a bid worksheet that details out everything that's going to be done, and this is where the timelines are of issue at times. This is where you've seen it takes too long because we're looking for demo work. Exactly what are you demoing in that kitchen?
Right. Yeah, it has to be very specific.
It's very specific. And for some contractors, that's not how they're used to doing business, so it creates a little bit of a hiccup in getting that done.
Right.
So once you have that and you have a fully complete credit file with your borrower, it all goes together and it goes to underwriting.
Gotcha. So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Bobby and JJ Radio. We're with Robin Morton with Cachet Real Estate Finance. We're going over the 203K loan, the do's and don'ts, who can get it, what can you use it for, and what you can't use it for. So sounds like a pretty long, drawn-out process. It's a lot of steps involved. Is there anything that a borrower can do to kind of speed this up?
The borrower working closely with their contractor and having a very detailed position of what they want to spend their money on will speed everything up.
So they can't just go in there and say, I want this to look pretty. They need to be very specific on how they're going to make that pretty, right? They can't just say, well, I want the kitchen to look newer. They need to sit down. You think that there should be some other people on their team. If you're actually going to do a 203K loan, it shouldn't just be the realtor and the borrowers and the contractor. You think that they should actually probably get someone else, too, to help them?
I do. I think that an interior decorator or design consultant can really facilitate the borrower's ideas and the contractor's bid sheet. So if the borrower can come in with exactly what they want, what tile did they pick, what appliance did they pick, that contractor can do a much quicker and more thorough job of getting a bid out.
Sure, because it's, and I see a lot of contractors end up doing this type of work where they'll go with them to Lowe's or Home Depot or Floor and Decor and stand with them and watch them pick out tile and stuff like that. And this is not only a waste of his or her time as the general contractor, but it also, I'm sure they see a lot of fights between, like husband and wife. And I didn't realize you blew.
So the 203K loan is responsible for a certain percentage of divorces.
I think there is. We haven't looked at those stats yet.
So maybe we shouldn't be pushing the 203K loan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Because we don't want to go. Yeah, because then if they're divorced, then debt to income ratios get mixed up, and then they're not approved for as much. I'm just kidding.
So you say it's a good 30 to 45 day process to do this loan. Can we just kind of touch on the timeline from beginning to end on the 203K loan?
From beginning to end, it'll be minimally a 60-day process.
Okay, 60 days. So it starts off with pretty much a regular home buying process, getting into contract. Initially, after closing, it's a first draw, correct?
Correct.
But in the actual buying process, is like anything else. You're going to get an inspection the first 7 to 10 days. You're going to do the appraisal. You're going to do the underwriting. You're going to get documents and title. Everything that's very normal on a 203B, regular FHA loan or conventional or VA or anything.
So the only difference is really once you close on the property is when the contractors start to kick in and everything, all the work starts to get done. So everything's pretty much 203B until you close.
Or right before, because they also have the timeline for the contractor to submit. What was the form that you said that it was called?
The bid worksheet.
The bid worksheet. And then that has to be approved along with all of the
correct
requirements of the buyer that they usually need. Okay. And then they have to start the repairs in the first 30 days.
Correct.
And they have to complete the work no longer than 6 months after they've
closed on the transaction.
So there's some stuff that you can't do because there's repairs that if you can't have it done in 6 months, then you shouldn't be working on it with a 203K loan. Is that correct?
It's basically about a $31,000 loan after you add back or subtract the contingency fund. $31,000 you should be able to rehab, and I'll defer that to the contractor, but
Sure.
you should be able to rehab.
Is there any
6 months.
penalties? Say you do go over that 6 months. What happens if you can't complete the repairs in the 6 month period that's given?
You have to reclose on a new FHA loan.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you definitely need a good contractor then, right?
Yes, you do.
So definitely divorce there.
No divorce. I don't know where you're...
Not yet? We're still there? Okay.
No. But the other thing that you really need to look at into, I think, with a 203K loan is you have to be prepared to maybe live in the house or not live in the house when all this stuff is being done as well, correct?
Correct. And the Streamline program, these are supposed to be cosmetic repairs, so you should be able to live in this home while the repairs are being completed.
So, Robin, this is amazing information on the 203K loan, what we call the unicorn of all lending here in San Antonio. I know that you do a lot more stuff than just 203K. You do the regular 203B, you do USDA, you do FHA, conventional 5, 10, 20% down, investment loans, Texas Vet, VA. Now, you're going to give all of our listeners a little something for if they want to maybe get a free consultation with you to determine if they want a 203K loan or if they want to maybe do that route. And you will give away an appraisal.
That is correct.
And that can be up to $500 that they can save on a loan.
That's correct.
And all they got to do is text 203K to 210-725-1685. Again, that's 203K to 210-725-1685. Or they can look you up at Cachet Real Estate Finance.
Let's spell Cachet for them.
CACHET. This is Bobby and JJ Radio. Do not move an inch. We'll be right back with Mark Foster from Alpha and Omega Restoration.